everybody take their seats? Jenny, what do you think? Tell everybody to take their seats and get started.
Good. Okay.
Good.
I saw Brandon.
There they are. Good. Okay. All right. Good evening. If we could have everybody please take their seats. Hello, I would like to welcome everyone to the 125th Milton-Union Alumni Banquet and Dinner. My name is Scott Vogel. I'm from the class of 1987. It's a tremendous honor to be this year's president of the Milton-Union Alumni Association. We are starting a new tradition here in the new school. It's great. I love it because nobody's sweating and we're in air conditioned for the first time, so it's a pretty cool thing. One thing about this wonderful school, if you haven't had an opportunity to tour the new school, you can do so immediately following tonight's dinner and banquet. Please meet Jenny Rammel and Lynette Vagatus in the cafetorium, and they will lead a tour of the school directly following the banquet and dinner. Just to make us an extra note, if something happens that you've changed addresses, if you could, please drop off your address and your information to someone at the front table. It costs extra money for the folks when things get returned, and that's extra money that's on the Alumni Association that they have to pay for. So if you have a change of address, make sure that you make them aware of that. Also like to give a big thank you to the class of 1988 for the decorations and setup for this year's banquet and dinner. We can give them a nice hand. Next on the agenda, I'd like to introduce Brandon Pickrell. He's from the class of 1988. He will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Brandon?
Thank you, Scott. If everybody would please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda, I would like to introduce Pastor Todd Hoskins from the class of 1988. He will provide the invocation for tonight.
If you bow your heads with me together, we will pray and ask God's blessing upon the food. Father, we're very thankful and delighted to be able to gather together tonight, fellowship together with those from past classes and those, dear God, that are with us recently as well. Father, we thank you and pray that you will bless this food and that it will nourish our body, bless the fellowship together. Father, we will thank you and give you praise as you watch over and protect us, bless our country, and bless West Milton. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, I know everybody's hungry, so next is dinner. The first three tables have already been served. Pinky and Greg Kokesberger, they will release each table, so once they release your table, you're clear to go up and get something to eat. We'll be back with you here in a little bit. Enjoy your dinner. First off, before we go ahead and start recognizing our guests, I'd like to give a big thank you to the class of 2015, the Milton-Union High School sophomore class, for serving everyone tonight, and thank the Brick House for a terrific meal. Next up, I'd like to introduce our guests up here on the stage. We have the Vice President of the Alumni Association, Pam Stonerock Paulus, from the class of '88. We have the Recording Secretary of the Alumni Association, Tracy Otto Dietz, from the class of 1989. We have the Milton-Union Superintendent of Schools, Jenny Rammel, and her husband, Mark. We have Dr. Bill Ginn and his wife, Joy. And we have the Treasurer of the Alumni Association, David Wyan. This year, we've had classmates travel from 17 different states to come to the Milton-Union Alumni Banquet and Dinner. We've had people from Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Maryland, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Florida, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona, Idaho, and Hawaii. It's pretty cool. Before we start the roll call of classmates, I would like to go ahead and recognize a family that is here tonight. They have 371 years of celebrating their high school graduation, and so I'd like to introduce these folks. If you could all six of you, if you could all stand up together. Like I said, they have 371 years total. They're celebrating their 77th, 73rd, 69th, 50th, 48th, and 54th class reunion. We have Lois Evelyn Castle, class of 36. Jessie Castle, class of 1940. Norma Castle Helstern, class of 1944. Donna Mergler Naisman, class of 1963. Earl Mergler, class of 65. And Ron Hale, class of 1959. If you could all stand wherever you're at. Unfortunately, tonight we have classmate Ruth Ilgen Howdyshell. She was not able to attend at the last minute. She would have been celebrating her 81st graduation, the class of 1932, but she wasn't able to attend, and she sends her regards in reference to that. So next, I would like to introduce the class of 1936, celebrating their 77th graduation from Milton-Union High School. Lois Evelyn Castle Mergler, Reva Jacob Schaefer, and Mary Ellen J. Wright. Next up is a class of 1937, celebrating their 76th graduation from Milton. June Hissong Strasser, Dorothy Schellenberger, Ganger, and Mildred James. And celebrating their 75th graduation from Milton-Union, class of 1938, Evelyn Moore Brown and Colonel Byron Lee Schatzley. And thank you for your service, sir. We'll continue on with the Milton-Union grads, the class of 1939. We also have a class of 1940. Present, we have a class of 1943, class of 1944, class of 1945, class of 1946, class of 1947, class of 1948, class of 1949, class of 1950, very good, class of 1951, class of 1952, And next, celebrating their 60th graduation from Milton-Union, the class of 1953, and I'd like to introduce Jim Kinnison. He'll come up and introduce the classmates from the class of 1953.
Thank you. Fellow alumni, before I introduce our class, there are several people I would like to express thanks to. One is Jenny Rammel, the Board of Education, the staff, the community members that made this remarkable facility a dream come true. So I think they all deserve a great big hand. I know the old I'm moving. I know the old facility has a lot of memories, and there's a lot of nostalgia attached to it, but I think this facility, especially in this era of high tech, will be much more valuable in teaching our youth. So I also would like to thank Nadine and Yvonne. I don't know where they are, but I see their crew is at work. I'm sorry, wrong crew. Nadine and Yvonne and all the alumni members that have worked for years to make this a rich tradition. We'd like to thank you too. Nadine, I think, has put in, I think this is her 44th year, so I think they deserve a big hand too. The crew I was referring to is Jolene's, and I don't see Jolene anywhere, but Jolene, wherever you are, I think you've done it again. You've created another gastronomic delight, so we thank you for the meal tonight. Now, class of 2013, where are you? Oh, right there. Okay. I'd like to congratulate you on your graduation and also for your commencement into your new life. I remember sitting where you were 60 years ago, looking at the 60-year class, bored out of my stall, and three words came to mind: old, old, old. I'm now sitting in the 60-year class looking at you people. Four words come to mind: young, energetic, and especially capable. So our class, the 60 years that our class has been out of school, we've been responsible for many, many, many technological advances in all fields of life. Our age is up. The next 60 years belong to you people. So as you're taking care of the next 60 years, please remember a couple of things. One, remember that family is number one. Family is important. And number two, get involved in community activities. It's your world now. Go get it. Now for the class of 1953. In 1941, we entered the McKinley Building. There were 91 of us that entered that first grade in the McKinley Building. We spent 6 years there, and then we went to the big house across the street to the junior high school complex, which was relatively new then. We spent 6 years there, and in 1953, 62 of us graduated. Today we have 51 of us that are still living. We're not all here tonight. The rest of them are spread out throughout the country. But I would like to introduce the ones that are here tonight. And classmates, would you please stand, and would your spouse also stand with you as I announce your names? Phil Broombaugh and his wife Barb. Norman School and his wife Mary Ann. Jan Thompson and his wife Roma Jo. Dwayne Weicker and his wife Joyce Ann. Shirley Stettler Schumacher and her husband, Jim. Gary Tizer. Norman Bode and his daughter, Leslie. Jerry Miller and his wife, Jean. Janie Dennis Markley and her wife, Dick Markley. Or husband. You're not going to let me forget that, are you, Dick? Ivan Kunkelman and his wife, Pat. Myron Kudabal and his wife, Janet Sue. Marilyn Seibert Grazer and Charlie Grazer. Glenn Breidenbaugh and his wife, Jaylene. Lee Kreider and his wife, Sonia. Jean Waymire Fox and her husband, Bill. And I'm Jim Penniston, and I'm being accompanied tonight by my daughter, Lori, class of 79. Thank you.
Okay, we'll continue with the roll call classes. Class of 1954, class of 1955, class of 1956, class of 1957, class of 1958, class of 1959, class of 1960. Next class, my dad's class, class of 1961. Class of 1962. And celebrating their 50th graduation from Milton-Union, class of 1963. And I'd like to introduce Jerry Pearson, who will be speaking on behalf of the class.
Well, here we are 50 years later and 50 pounds later. And class of 88, I hear you laughing. We see you. One of my classmates or teammates last night made the remark that, you know, after 50 years, we make a pretty intimidating offensive line. There is one advantage of getting old. As I was leaving our little get-together last night, we had our class, a young woman opened the door for me. But it's not what you think. I know she's saying, you poor old decrepit old man, let me get that door for you. So, but we're very proud of our class of 63. We are muscle cars, the birth of rock and roll. And that disco thing, we're sorry about that. But I would like to introduce our classmates. Ralph Simmons. Would you please stand as I call your name? Dale Lesher. Linda Minnie Goodpaster. Sue Schallenberger Freeman. Corky O'Callaghan. I don't want to go too fast. It takes them a while to stand up, you know. So Richard Smith. Jane Beth Walker Hoover. Bill Warner. Mary Myers Mumal. Bonnie Perkypile Keeson. Donna Mergler Naismith. Bob Manker. Dick Johnson. Janie Waymire Warner. Jerry Pinkerton. Bob Stringer. John Pearson. Sally Griffin. Joyce Gibbs Knight. Cheryl Victor Cheadle. Chuck Tinnerman. Bill Burton. Ken Roy. Our class advisor, Dale Kessler. And I apologize for all the names I called you in your geometry class. Jane Fetters Warner and Tom Warner. Jim Knight. Darlene Biesecker Wright. Carol Waymar Johnson. Nancy Koosman Stoner. Koosman. That's the class of 63. Our motto that we had in 63, graduation motto, or class motto, was not finished, just beginning, and I think that's fitting today. Thank you.
All right, next up, class of 1964. Class of 1965. Class of 1966. Class of 1967. Class of 1968. Class of 1969. Good year, that was the year I was born. Class of 1970. Class of 1971. Class of 1972. And celebrating their 40th graduation from Milton-Union, the class of 1973, I'd like to introduce Dave Fine. He'll be speaking on behalf of their class.
Good evening, everyone. As he said, my name is Dave Fine, the president of class of 1973. We too would like to thank the Alumni Committee for recognizing our class as an honored class. You know, you're getting a little older when you are an honored class at the Alumni Banquet, but we do appreciate it. Thank you. And we'd like to extend congratulations to the seniors this year as well. Wish you best of luck in your adventures that lie ahead of you. Congratulations. I'd like to congratulate the 60-year class and the 50-year class as well. I'm sure you guys have had a nice time like our class has been having, and we intend to extend it later on this evening. Someday, God willing, we'll be sitting in your chairs as well. And I'm going to take a minute to recognize the 70-year class too, since I'm up here speaking. My mother's in the 70-year class, so Hi, Mom. Congratulations. Love you. You're doing well. Our class haven't been together for a while. We met last night, had a wonderful evening at Company 7 in Inglewood. We had about 80 people there. We used their banquet center. And for those of you who don't know, that they did a wonderful job for us. And the owner and the son and son-in-law are volunteer firemen for the city of West Milton. So if you're ever down that way, they do a wonderful job for us. Stop in and say hi to them. Again, I'm not going to go through a list of names of our class. We have 2 full tables back there. I just figured that the younger class probably didn't care and the older classes may not remember. So we're becoming one of them. So with that said, if my classmates would please stand, all of you. Great pleasure, the class of 1973. Thank you.
All right, continuing, class of 1974, class of 1977, class of 1978, class of 1979, class of 1980, class of 1981, class of 1982, class of 1987, yeah, and celebrating their 25th graduation from Milton-Union, and of course responsible for the decorations and design of the program this evening. I'm going to introduce Pam Stonerock Paulus. She's the president of the class of 1988.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I'm with the rowdy group back there. I have a classmate that's going to do an introduction to our featured part of the evening. So I would just like to kind of read off everyone that's here this evening. And if you could please stand. Sorry, spouses, I didn't get spouses. Sherry Stamper-Beard. PJ Wirtz, who helped us immensely. Thank you, PJ. Tom Mayer. Ted Frederick. Amy Tennerman-Kunkel. Tim Studebaker, our 50-50 salesman extraordinaire. Michael Warner. Nikki Gettinger. Beth Sanders. Pastor Todd Hoskins. Brenda Studebaker McWhorter. Brandon Pickrell. Kim Smith Dunn. Alan Berry. Wendy Hinkle Thompson. Heather Schilling Galentine. And if I missed anyone that came in late, I apologize. Thank you all for being here and for helping. It has truly been a group effort this year, so I appreciate you all coming through. And last but very much not least, I'd like to introduce Mr. Rhett Carpenter. He's going to say a few words about the class and introduce our video. So thank you. So we'd just like to let this hang somewhere to kind of remind everyone sort of what the genesis of all this was, and that one person really can make a difference.
we'll go ahead and finish up the roll call classes. Class of 1989. Class of 1990. Class of 1992. Class of 1993. Class of 1998. Class of 2008. Class of 2011. Class of 2012. Okay, that concludes the roll call of classes. Next, I'd like to introduce from the class of 1988, giving the memorial tribute, Heather Schilling Gallanty.
It's at this time when we take a moment to recognize our classmates who have passed in the last year. And in advance, I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. From the classes of the 1930s. 1933, Vera Coppic Newton. 1934, Martin W. Moat. 1935, Donald J. Castle. 1935, Pauline Dirth Hildebrand. 1936, Frida Miller Harper. 1939, Esther Petrie Winklejohn. And also from 1939, Marthel Waymeyer Fellers. From the 1940s, 1941, James M. Kashner. 1942, Frida Coate Gibson. 1942, Thelma Mast Spears. 1943, Robert Fitzhands. 1944, Robert Hemrick. 1944, Fred Van Kirk. 1945, Ned Iddings. 1945, Robert Kirby. 1945, Donna Thuma Foreman. 1946, Evelyn Wright Hildebrand. 1947, Suzanne Broomball Coate. 1947, Kathleen Evans Fisher. 1947, Patricia Hissong Kelly. 1947, Jerry Carnes. 1947, Donald L. Kindle. 1948, Jean Reimuller Herod. From the 1950s, 1950, Ed Broomball. 1952, Diane Faye Kugler Houston. 1954, Shirley Briquette. 1954, Donald Plank. 1954, Jim Warner. 1955, Bruce Bridges. 1955, Frederick Ted Franz. 1956, Joanne Holbert Duncan. 1956, Paul Lutz. 1958, Stephen Fetter. 1959, Virginia Antonides Widener Meyer. In 1959, Joe Cummins. From the 1960s, 1960, Carl Williams. 1960, Pat Zellers Pittman. 1961, Karen Higgins. 1962, Thomas Davis. 1963, Elmer Whirling. 1967, Ed Bosey. 1967, Robert Evans. 1967, Charles Hale. 1967, Edward Rohr. 1968, Janet Waddell Balsamo. 1969, Rex Coate. 1969, Robert Ray. 1969, Stephen Webb. From the graduating classes of the 1970s, 1970, David Ritchie Krug. 1970, Vicki Smith Borms. 1970, Carl Buggy Williams. 1974, Kevin Hawes. 1977, Richard K. Charles. 1977, Eric L. Etter. 1979, Randall W. Keeler. 1979, Terry Mitchell. From the 1980s, 1981, Jerry L. Jackson. 1981, Michelle Lou Pearson Shepard. And from the 2000s, from the class of 2008, Grant Fryman. And from the class of 2011, Jacqueline St. Myers. We also have an honorary member, Fred Thompson, and a recognition of a teacher past, Lorraine Kaufman.
Next on the agenda tonight, we'd like recognition of the Milton-Union Hall of Fame inductees. I'd like to introduce Yvonne Martindale-Kokesberger, class of 71.
Good evening. So glad to see everybody. I wanted to apologize, though, about some of the tables got a little close. This was a learning curve for all of us. We didn't realize we had this much room. So next year, things will be spread out a lot more, and you'll have a lot more room. So please bear with us this year. Our first person for the Hall of Honor is Virginia Ann Hemrick. Virginia Ann Hemrick, known to everyone as Jenny, graduated with the class of 1953. She was a scholar, an author, an artist, an expert on the disease of muscular dystrophy, and a model for all to emulate. Jenny came to school in the 1950s and did everything everyone else did except for the gym class. With her wonderful intellect and zest for life, she was able to overcome her physical disability and live a very full and productive life. Jenny worked with many organizations in Miami County and was on the board that founded the first abuse shelter. She was appointed to the White House Council for the Handicapped in Washington, D.C. in 1977, one of 4 members from the state of Ohio. Jenny was named Outstanding Woman of the Year in 1981. She was always very involved and very supportive in community, state, and national agendas, always doing what she could to help out our school. Jenny participated in the muscular dystrophy research for many years at the University of Cincinnati. Jenny was one of the oldest survivors of muscular dystrophy, passing away in 1990 at the age of 56. She inspired everyone whose life she touched, her sense of humor, her intellect, and her compassion. She is a hero to all of us who knew her and an inspiration to all Milton-Union alumni. I'm very proud to give this Hall of Honor award in memory of Virginia Hemrick. We have Kirk Hemrick accepting. Our next recipient is Jill Osborne Sprinkle. And for some reason, her name in the newsletter was Sharon Osborne. I guess we were trying to get Ozzy here or something, I don't know. After graduating from the class of 1961, Jill received her Bachelor of Science degree in agricultural education in just 3 years from the Ohio State University. Jill taught 3 years in the Columbus Public Schools in the first public school program in the entire United States, specifically for children with learning disabilities. In conjunction with what was formerly known as the Dallas Health and Science Museum, Jill developed an outreach program called Miss Wonderbody. She traveled all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area presenting a program for K-8 grades on how our bodies work. Jill completed courses, worked at El Centro College in Dallas, Texas, to obtain her Texas board license as a registered nurse. Jill worked 2.5 years with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in the Republic of Singapore. Her duties involved teaching English and providing medical care in a large refuge camp in Singapore. When Jill returned to the States, she was accepted into the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School in Dallas, Texas. There she received the master's degree and was hired by the university to create a program to better teach and assess clinical skills in both the medical students and primary care medical residents. Jill was named Director of Clinical Skills Evaluation at the university, which involved setting up a clinical skills teaching lab in which she used standardized patients to train and evaluate clinical skills of the medical students. Jill has published a number of papers at international medical conferences and served as a chief proctor for the U.S. medical licensing examinations for a number of years. She was a consultant to the National Board of Medical Examiners in Philadelphia in the development of a hands-on standardized clinical test using standardized patients that all medical students must pass. It is given at multiple locations across the country. Jill's most current work has been with Calcutta Rescue through street clinics in Calcutta, India, administering to the poorest of the poor and addressing health problems through clinics dealing with TB, diabetes, leprosy, OB/GYN, and other general health problems. In addition, she worked with Calcutta's rescue schools where disadvantaged children are given free education and a hope for a better future. I am pleased to give this Hall of Honor award to Jill Osborne Sprinkle. Our next recipient is Jolene Johnson Sell, and you've all got to taste her good cooking tonight. Jolene graduated with the class of 1976. She has been and always will be a West Milton girl and a bulldog at heart. Jolene is in the catering and restaurant business. Her restaurant is the Brick House Cafe in downtown West Milton. She has a great reputation as always having good food. Jolene has been catering the alumni dinners for the past 6 years, and it has been wonderful to work with a person so passionate about what she does. Jolene does so much for our community, her work at the Hoffman Methodist Church, our school functions, and just helping other small business people with their own business ventures. Jolene is one of the most giving people that I know, and it gives me great pleasure to give this Hall of Honor award to her. One last award, Nadine Ford Thompson. Nadine Ford Thompson graduated with the class of 1945, where she was known affectionately as Skipper, and we still haven't found out why that name. Nadine was ambitious, energetic, and popular. She was in band for 4 years, chorus 3 years, Girls Athletic Association for 2 years, the ECHO staff, and an office worker. Nadine belonged to the M Club, participated in the junior play, and also the senior class play where she played Ethel in the stage production of The Best Foot Forward. After high school, she worked at the AAA Auto Club and also worked for her father's drugstore in town called Ford's Pharmacy. When her uncle sold the pharmacy, she went to work at Hobart in Troy, Ohio. Nadine worked there for 7 years and met Fred Thompson. Fred had 2 sons, Jim and John, and so when they were married, Nadine stayed at home and became involved with family life and the civic affairs of the community. She became a school bus driver for a number of years, was and still is a member of the Milton-Union Club, Grandmother's Club, and this year she will celebrate 74 years as a very active and contributing member of the Hoffman United Methodist Church. Nadine's remarkable contribution to the Milton-Union schools community has been her 47 years of leadership with the Milton-Union Alumni Association. She is a fastidious bookkeeper of names and addresses, a detailed organizer, and a most devoted alumni. Due to her work in the alumni, there have been record attendances of over 500 alumni from all over the United States and abroad returning for the annual banquet in May. Were it not for her dedication, persistence, and devotion, the alumni would not be what it is today. So I am very honored and privileged to give this Hall of Honor Award to Nadine Ford Thompson.
This is a shock. Shock. I thank my granddaughters here for your work.
All right, to continue with the agenda, next up is the recognition of the Milton-Union Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. I'd like to introduce Dr. William Ginn, class of '74.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. I'm here to introduce, for the first time publicly, the 4 newest members of the Milton-Union Athletic Hall of Fame. I would like to quickly tell you how the selections are made. The Hall of Fame Committee accepts new nominations each year until March the 1st. And that being said, nominations are now open for the 2014 class. You may contact me with a nomination or call the high school athletic department and give them your nominations. All nominees must have graduated at least 10 years prior to the year of their induction. Each year in April, the committee sits down, reviews the current nominees, and a maximum of 4 people are chosen on a secret ballot. The selected athletes are then contacted and informed of their selection, and the Alumni Banquet is used as the venue for the first public announcement of the inductees. Each inductee's permanent plaque is placed on display in a prominent place in our athletic entryway. If you haven't seen it going out there, it's to the right across from our display of our old center court from the previous high school building, which we just got up there a few weeks ago, and it looks great. The honored athletes are also given a second plaque for display in their homes. And this is where I hope some of you come in. The Hall of Fame receives no funding from the school whatsoever. The operating funds come from donations. And we have been helped immensely by donations from our alumni. Some of you have even sponsored a plaque to remember a classmate, your friend, or maybe someone you just admire. If you are a person that would like to do that, please see me or see Tom Kugler in the athletic department. The Hall of Fame Committee is also selling high school, the old high school 4 Seasons pictures as a fundraiser, and also we have stickers from the bricks. If you have a brick from the high school and would like a commemorative sticker, those are also on sale. Today, the Athletic Hall of Fame has a total of 36 inductees, 8 charter members, and 28 selections from the previous 8 years. I'm proud to announce that the newest Hall of Fame members are, from the class of 1966, Jim Hansen. A standout athlete in 3 sports, Jim received 10 varsity letters in football, basketball, and track while at Milton. In football, he was twice All-SWBL and was All-Ohio and a high school All-American his senior season. In track, Jim was the SWBL champion in the shot put and discus his senior year. In basketball, he was again All-SWBL twice and finished his career the number 2 scorer at the time of his graduation. He furthered his basketball career at Baptist College, which is now known as Charleston Southern, in South Carolina. From the class of 1982, our second inductee is Courtney Kreger. Courtney was a 3-sport letter winner during his MU career, collecting varsity M's in football, wrestling, and baseball. In football, he was an All-SWBL selection at running back and ended his career #1 on the career rushing yardage list. He was SWBL champion, district champion, and placed 4th in the state wrestling championships in 1982. He was also a 2-time All-SWBL performer in baseball. Our third inductee from the class of 1986, Chantel Van Dyke Rammel. Chantel was an outstanding performer in tennis and fast-pitch softball during her Milton-Union career. In softball, she was her team's most valuable player, was named All-SWBL, and was All-District during her senior year in 1986. She is one of Milton's all-time great tennis players, as evidenced by her being a 3-time tennis MVP. She was a 4-time All-SRC player at first singles and appeared in the state tennis tournament twice. She was a career leader in singles victories at the time of her graduation and was a 4-year varsity player at the University of Toledo. And last, from the class of 1996, Joe Creech. Joe led it in 3 sports during his high school career and was named the most outstanding senior male athlete in 1996. Joe's remarkable wrestling career included 3 SRC championships, an overall career record of 122-16, and his unique claim to fame is that he remains Milton-Union's only state wrestling champion, a feat he accomplished his senior year. These 4 athletes will be honored on January the 18th, 2014 at our Hall of Fame banquet and between the JV and varsity basketball games that night. Thank you.
Next up, we have our business section of the meeting. We need to have approval of the last minutes from 2012 from our meeting then. So if I could have everybody all in favor say aye. We'll approve our minutes. Very good. Next, I'd like to introduce David Wine from the class of 76 with the treasurer report.
In our newsletter account, we have $3,977.35. Our scholarship account, $6,792.87. Our general operating account, $46,476.93. And in our UBS investment account, $314,166.11. For a grand total of all alumni accounts of $371,413.26.
And last, with the business section of the meeting, we need to have the nomination of new officers. Our new president will be Pam Stonerock Paulus. Our vice president will be Tracy Otto Dietz. And the secretary, recording secretary, I believe class of 1990, is Lori Michaels. All in favor, say aye. All right, next up on the agenda, I'd like to have the class advisors from the class of 2013, Ashley Vincent and Megan Kerner, come up here to the podium to introduce the class of 2013.
Good evening. I'm Ashley Vincent, and this is Megan Kerner. And we are very honored and pleased to introduce the class of 2013 to you. And I ask, as each student's name is called, if they would just stand, that would be wonderful. Dakota Allball. Dakota will be attending Wilmington College, where he will pursue a degree in animal science and teaching. His goal is to move west to pursue a career in agriculture.
Wyatt Banner. Wyatt will be attending Sinclair Community College to pursue a degree in computer science. He plans to have a career in computer engineering, programming.
Noah Barth. Noah will be attending DePaul University as a community service scholar. He was accepted in the honors program and will major in American Studies with a minor in community service.
Samuel Brady. Sam will be attending The Ohio State University to pursue a degree in engineering.
Daniel Brown. Daniel is attending Sinclair Community College to study criminal justice or business marketing.
Josh Bryan. Josh will be attending Sinclair Community College. He will be studying dietetics.
Dallas Chrisman. Dallas will be attending Kettering School of Advertising Art. After earning his degree, he would like to pursue a career in graphic design.
Austin Dickinson. Austin will be attending the University of Dayton to pursue a degree in biology. He plans to use his biology degree to continue his education in physical therapy.
Emily Gentry. Emily will be attending Muskegon studying veterinarian sciences. She would like to focus on wildlife in order to work at a zoo or a conservation facility.
Cassie Hayworth. Cassie will be attending Avitas Institute in Columbus, Ohio. She'll be studying cosmetology and aesthetics. After completing her cosmetology license, she plans to pursue a degree in business to open her own spa and salon.
Clay Hill. Clay is attending Wright State University to pursue a degree in environmental sciences.
Craig Hollis. Craig will attend the University of Texas at Austin. He will be studying television and film production.
Casey Jackson. Casey will be attending Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. She'll be studying pharmacy and plans to become a pharmacist.
Connor Lunsford. Connor will be attending Wright State University to earn a degree in computer engineering. He would like to use his future degree to design computers.
Haley Martins. Haley will be attending Sinclair Community College in the fall to study radiology. She would like to work in a hospital.
Caitlin Neely. Kate will be attending the University of Louisville. She has been accepted into the JB Speed School of Engineering. She plans to graduate with her master's in electrical engineering. She would like to pursue a career within a large technical company working with computers and robotics.
Carrie Powers. Carrie is attending Edison Community College to receive her associate degree. She plans to continue her education to receive her bachelor's in business management. She would like to open her own sewing shop to be a dressmaker and professional seamstress.
Katie Pertee. Katie will be attending Xavier University to study occupational therapy and minor in American Sign Language. She plans to work at Dayton Children's Hospital.
Jason Seiler. Jason will attend Wittenberg University and is currently an undecided major. He will play on the university's football team.
Jesse Simpson. Jesse will be attending Wittenberg University. Jesse will be playing on the university's football team and is planning to study business.
Nick Simpson. Nick is attending Wright State University to pursue a 4-year Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. He would like to eventually work in a family practice, trauma, or emergency room.
Bailey Spittler. Bailey plans to study at Kettering College of Medical Arts. She plans to be a nurse at a children's hospital in either the emergency room or the neonatal intensive care unit.
Anna Vagatus. Anna is going to The Ohio State University to pursue a degree in landscape architecture.
Charity Wagner. Charity will be attending Edison Community College this fall to earn her associate's degree.
Cole Wallace. Cole will be attending Ohio Northern University. He was accepted in the Doctor of Pharmacy program, and after his 6-year program, he plans to practice clinical pharmacy.
And last, Megan Ward. Megan has been accepted into Wright State University's honors program. She plans to pursue a career as a nurse in anesthetics. She would like to work at Dayton Children's Hospital and would like to minor in Spanish to further her qualifications within the nursing field.
Congratulations, class of 2013.
Next, I'd like to introduce David Wyan with the Alumni Scholarship Presentations.
Before we begin with the presentations, I would like to take just a brief moment to refresh your memories as to how the recipients of the scholarships are chosen each year. If you remember, we work very closely with the guidance office here at the high school. We make sure that they have our applications, and they make sure that every graduating senior has the opportunity to apply for an alumni scholarship. Our scholarship application is in 2 parts. There's the part that the student completes and returns to the guidance office, and then the financial part that the student's guardian or parent complete, and that comes back to the Alumni Association. Each year, 2 subcommittees are formed. The first subcommittee ranks and rates the student's application, and the second subcommittee ranks and rates the financial part that the parent or guardian has returned. We also form a scholarship selection committee each year. The findings from the 2 subcommittees are given to the selection committee, and they are actually the committee that chooses the recipients each year. So seniors, we thank you for applying. We thank you for being here this evening, and on behalf of the Alumni Association, we welcome you back in future years. We're always the same weekend in May, and we'd love to have you back. If you are a recipient of a scholarship this evening, I have an envelope for you, so when I call your name, if you will come forward, and I think they want to get a picture of you. In your envelope, 2 pieces of information. One is the award letter, talks a little bit about the scholarship that you have received. It also tells you the person or the group that has donated the funds that you are receiving. On behalf of the Alumni Association, we would request that you maybe take a little time and respond to the address that is in the packet, and just share a little bit about yourself and what you're planning to do to the person who has funded your scholarship. There's also a form in there that you need to complete and return to me at least 3 weeks prior to the time that you need your scholarship. So we'll get started. Our first recipient of the Jack Walther Athletic Award and a Milton-Union Alumni Scholarship for $2,000 goes to Austin Dickinson. Is that good? The recipient of the Luella Cardos Award for $1,000 goes to Josh Bryan. And we have a special person to give away our next scholarship.
For all of you who do not know, I'm Cassie Hayward. I'm a senior here at Milton. I have the honor of handing out the first annual Grant Fryman Memorial Scholarship. Grant was the son of Skeet and Darla Fryman and the brother of Matt, Lydia, and I. He was a graduate of Milton, class of 2008. Grant was an all-around amazing guy, friendly to everyone. Grant would go above and beyond to put a smile on someone's face. Grant played football all of his life, and he was passionate and had a strong love for the game. He was a nose guard in high school for the Bulldogs. Grant loved the sport, and he always gave 110% on and off the field. Grant passed away this September unexpectedly. I want to first thank everybody who has made a donation to the Grant Fryman Memorial Scholarship Fund, giving us the honor of handing out one of the biggest scholarships here at the Alumni Banquet. We are honored to be giving out a $3,000 scholarship in Grant's name. This scholarship is available to any senior football player for the Bulldogs. We left the choosing up to the Alumni Committee so that not only would it be a surprise to all of you, it would be a surprise to my family and I. This scholarship is going out to a football player who shares the similar qualities as my brother did. With that being said, I'm very pleased to announce that this scholarship is going to Jason Seiler.
A $2,000 Milton-Union Alumni Scholarship goes to Haley Martins. Another Milton-Union Alumni Scholarship for $2,000 to Megan Ward. The Harold Antonides Memorial Scholarship and Milton-Union Alumni Scholarship for 2000 to Stacy Spittler. The Iris and George Bradshaw Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Noah Barth. The Viola Evans Brown Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Catherine Pertee. The Charles Fine Memorial Scholarship, $2,000, Caitlin Neely. The Hubert Fine Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Carrie Powers. The Dale and Maxine Hess Miller Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Connor Lunsford. The Lois Kashner Mott Memorial Scholarship, $2,000, Cassandra Hayworth. The Charles Taylor Memorial Scholarship, $2,000, Nicholas Simpson. The Dale Krugerball Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Ann Vaganis. The Raymond Puderball Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Emily Gentry. The Robert Puderball Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Clay Hill. The Phyllis Puderball Taylor Scholarship, $2,000 to Dallas Christman. The George and Mary Trickett Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Samuel Brady. And our last scholarship, the Zoe Wirtz-Hittner Memorial Scholarship, $2,000 to Casey Jackson. Again, let's thank all of the seniors for applying and congratulate our students. Okay. If you received a scholarship this evening, they want to take your picture on the back, risers back there, so immediately after the program, head back that way. We have the drawing next, the raffle drawing. If you are here, I have checks, so I can write you a check tonight if you are here and are a winner. Fourth place, Kimberly Pascal, class of 1977. Third place, Keith Widener, class of 1947. Second place, Johnny Hosbrook, class of 1960. And first place, and I think I saw him here, Alan Smith, class of 1966. And for our seniors that are here, we put the names of everyone that is here and pick a guy and a girl for $25 each, and the winners are Jessica Ogden and Connor Lunsford. So see me right after that, a check for you. Thanks.
Okay, we have one more drawing. We have the 50-50 drawing, so make sure you get out your tickets. What?
What's the amount?
Okay, the split the pot was $400, so the winner gets $200 to go home with.
And your number is 496711.
Got to be present.
Are you serious?
Get me right there.
496711. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks. We got a $100 bill back, bud.
All right, that concludes this year's banquet and dinner. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. The Alumni Association has some mementos for sale out in the foyer area out there at the table. If you're interested, another note, favors, they're having their after party at the American Legion immediately following the Alumni Banquet and dinner. Don't forget, if you want to tour the school, you can meet Jenny Rammel and Lynette Vagatus in the cafetorium, and we'll see you next year. Thank you very much. I will.